morning, fashion class. I just wanted to give you the heads up as to what's on the docket for this week. So I'm just looking at the Unit 4 checklist, and if you were looking at this earlier in the week, I made a change. With report cards, it was kind of a crazy week, so I haven't been able to give you feedback on your Unit 4 work yet. So I don't want you doing your summative this week without having any feedback from those two tasks. Also, a lot of you haven't handed them in yet, so that's kind of a problem, and I encourage you to hand them in as soon as possible. But I've decided to give you the first chunk of your summative. We're going to be doing it slowly over the next 4 or 5 weeks, and then you'll have the last couple of weeks of the course to do the second part. There is no exam in this course. It's a 2-part summative. So one part is a report, which you're used to doing, and it will be written in APA format, and the other will be a commercial, a video. So the practicing that you're doing with the videos from Unit 4 will help you with your commercial for your store at the end of the unit. So there are 2 things on the agenda this week. One is a discussion, and one is working on your summative. I put the discussion due midweek, so you have some time on Thursday and Friday to hopefully respond to a couple people's discussion posts. This discussion will be assessed, so you need to be writing a good post and responding to at least 2 peers, or responding to 1 peer twice and having a discussion. I need 2 responses nonetheless, so I'm going to go to that assignment. So if you go to Unit 4, we're in Activity 3. Activity 3 is all about the manufacturing of fashion. And you're going to read some stuff about sweatshops and apparel manufacturing and offshore production. But we have this quote here. And what I want you to do for the discussion is I want you to read this quote, and I want you to think about it. And I want you to think about what it's trying to say. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pick a couple of references from the resource sections below. So here are a whole bunch of different links to resources. If any of them don't work, I've gone through a few of them, just let me know. Sometimes the URLs change, and so the links need to be updated. So pick a couple of resources from this list, and what I want you to do is I want you to find something on that website that illustrates Tasman Blanchard's quote. So for example, maybe it's about waste. We fashion people revel in waste. So maybe I'm going to go to poverty in the environment. I'm going to see if there's anything about waste there. And maybe then I'm going to go to sweatshops and the responsible customer, and I'm going to see if there's anything about waste there. So I'm going to find examples from the reference that illustrates Tasman Blanchard's quote. And so I will find the chunk of text that I think references that, and then I'm going to say why I think it references that quote. So you're not expecting me to make the link, you're going to tell me the link in your brain so I can know. And then what I want you to do, since this is all about factor opinion, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the selection that you've chosen from one of these resources and decide if it's factor opinion. And if you don't know what the difference between factor opinion is, then shoot me a page and review your course content if you need to. So that's task number 1. Do the discussion post and respond twice. That might be to the same peer, so maybe you're going to have a back and forth between you and another student in the class, or maybe you're going to respond to 2 different people's. And make sure your response is rich if you're looking to meet or exceed expectations. The second task that's due this week is due at the end of the week, and it's starting your summative. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to start a document for this summative work, and every time I ask you to hand in a piece of your summative, you're just going to add to the document. So the document's eventually going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So start a new Word doc or Google Doc for this work. And what I want you to do is I want you to do a customer profile. So you've done this from Unit 2. You've had practice, you've had feedback. For the course summative, you're taking the role of a fashion entrepreneur who's opening up their own women's clothing store. So you're going to be going through all the steps to draft out your plan for the store. But the first part of the plan is deciding what kind of customer you wish to service in your store. So you're going to develop a character profile, which includes all the demographic, psychographic, purchasing behavior, and social influences. If you need to go back to Unit 2 to remind yourself about what those things are, then I suggest you do that. And relate about what you know to the fashion cycle, fashion leadership, and adoption theories. So those are 3 theories. And I want you to link what you know about your customer to those 3 things. So are they fashion laggers? Where do they fit? The other things that you need to do is think about the values and the needs of your customers, including what type of merchandise they would want to buy and at what price point. So an 18-year-old will want to buy stuff that's drastically different than a 30-year-old professional. And conversely, a 30-year-old professional will want to buy things that are different than a 45-year-old stay-at-home mom. So think about what your customer wants and needs. Think about their age, what occupation they could have, an income bracket, a lifestyle. Feel free to even imagine up a character so you can kind of role play. And decide what type of retail atmosphere would appeal to your customer. What would your customer like to see in a store, and also what does your customer look like? So go on Google Images and pick an image of who you think your target customer would be. So this is all draft. So when you do this summative task, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to hand in the whole thing for marks at the end of the course. What you're doing right now is you're making it easier on yourself come the end of the course, because if you do a good job on this now, you'll just probably have to cut, paste, and edit at the end. So we're spreading the work out over a longer period of time. This also gives me a chance to give you feedback on this stuff before you hand it in for marks. So if you go wrong somewhere, I'm going to catch it and I'm going to help you steer you in the right direction so you can get a good mark on that final summative task. If you don't hand these things in, I'm not going to chase you. It just means that you're not going to have the benefit of having my feedback, and you are going to have to do it all at the end of the course, which will be a time crunch, and it's going to be beautiful outside. So do yourself a favor. I've spread this out for a reason. Please try and follow the schedule as you can, and then it will make your life so much easier in June. So if you have any questions, always don't hesitate to ask, and you'll be finishing Unit 4 at the end of next week. All right, have a good day, guys.